Dear students, today we are going to consider the language components of the poem If, written by Rudyard Kipling. In the previous sessions, we had considered the introduction to the poet, analysis of the poem, annotation and short questions, and this section will completely deal with the discussion of the language components. As we have already discussed in the previous poem, language components have 5 categories. First one is punctuation. Second one, we have the use of negatives or the framing questions. Then comes the use of negatives, then linkers, and then the comprehension passage. So to begin with, we will start with the punctuation. Now the major punctuation marks or the important punctuation marks that you need to keep in mind, as we have already discussed in the previous poem, they are capital letter, full stop, comma, inverted commas, question mark and exclamatory mark. These are the major punctuation marks which we use commonly. So here look at the sentences which are given in the text. Now the first sentence here is River Yamuna flows through Agra. You can see there is absolutely no punctuation mark at all. The answer, you can see how the punctuation marks, the appropriate punctuation marks are used. River Yamuna flows through Agra, where R capital, Y capital and A capital for Agra. Now the second sentence, he said there is some cheese in the fridge. Again, no punctuation marks. So the punctuation marks used in the answer are he, H capital. After said, we have put a comma because it's a dialogue. We are going to use the punctuation marks for this sentence as we use in direct speech. So whichever is a dialogue, for that we make use of double inverted commas. So here comes the double inverted commas. At the end of the sentence, full stop. Now the next sentence, Elaine is going to learn German. Now the necessary punctuation marks in this sentence are German, G capital and full stop at the end of the sentence. Now when it comes to the fourth sentence, they were going to France the next Friday. The punctuation marks used are the first word capital letter, France F capital, Friday F capital and full stop at the end of the sentence. Next sentence, Mrs. Patil is giving us a history test on Wednesday. The punctuation marks used are Mrs. M capital, Patil M capital, then Wednesday W capital and full stop at the end of the sentence. So we know that proper nouns will take capital letters, and that's the reason the previous sentence Friday F capital, Wednesday, here in this sentence Wednesday W capital and the names Mrs. Patil, those are the capital letters in the beginning. Now in the next sentence, the Eiffel Tower is the most famous monument in France. The T capital, Eiffel E capital, then France F capital and full stop at the end of the sentence. It's the same principle that we have used. The proper nouns will take the capital letter in the beginning. The next sentence, he asked the boys, where have you been all this while? Now in the answer you can see the comma, inverted commas, question mark as the punctuation marks which are used. And the capital letter in the beginning, as always, he asked the boys, comma. And since it looks like a dialogue, the punctuation marks used are that of a direct speech. So this is how you put the question mark at the end, because it sounds like a question. Now the eighth sentence, India is the 7th largest country in the world. India I capital and full stop at the end of the sentence. Now the next category is framing questions. We know that questions are of two types, WH questions and yes no questions. When the instruction given to you is to frame a question to get the underlined word as the answer, you are going to frame a WH question. It looks like this. Madrid is the capital of Spain. Now to get Madrid as the answer, the question which is going to be a WH question is like this: which is the capital of Spain? Or you can even say, what is the capital of Spain? That is also a probable answer. Now the second one, Mary moved into a new house. Now if you have to get new house as the answer, where did Mary move? Now again, you can see a WH question which is framed here. Now one more point that you need to keep in mind while framing questions is that the tense of the sentence should remain the same. You should not change the tense when you are transforming the sentence. Now the third one, yes, my car broke down yesterday. Now you are supposed to change this to yes no question. Yes no questions will always start with the auxiliary verbs or the helping verbs. And the helping verbs are be verbs, have verbs, do verbs or modals. Any of these can function as helping verbs. Now if you can observe this, the answer is, didn't my car break down yesterday? Is the yes no question which has been framed, and it starts with the word did, which is a do verb. Now the fourth one, no, I don't think I have left the document in the locker. Again yes no question. Now the question starts with the word do, which is a do verb, which is an auxiliary verb again. Do I think I have left the document in the locker? So this is how you frame. When you reverse the order of the subject and the verb in a sentence, it becomes a question. Just like I don't think, when you change it to do I think, when you reverse the order, it becomes a question. Now the next category is use of negatives. Use of negatives in the sense using of the word not, negative word, in a sentence. If a positive or the affirmative sentence is given to you, when you have to change it to negative, you have to include the word not in the answer. If a negative sentence is given and if you are asked to change it to affirmative, then you are supposed to remove the word not and write the answer. Here are the sentences which are given. Trust in his wisdom. If you have to change it to negative, you will have to say don't trust in his wisdom. Now second one, mother is going to cook spinach tonight. If you have to change it to negative, use the word not in the answer. Mother is not going to cook spinach tonight. The next sentence, Anil does not speak about his loss. You have to change this to affirmative. Now the given sentence is a negative one because the word not exists in the question. Now in the answer, you have to remove the word not and then give the answer. The answer becomes Anil speaks about his loss. Now the next one, Jack never agrees to help his friends. Here you have a negative word which is never. Never, not, no, these are the negative words which you can keep in mind. So when you have to change this to affirmative, you will have to remove those negative words and then give the answer. So the answer becomes Jack agrees to help his friends. Now the next category of language components is linkers. Linkers are nothing but conjunctions. Probably you remember conjunctions when you were studying parts of speech during your school days. So conjunctions will be given at the end of the sentences. You will have the choice. Choose the right conjunction in the blank and then complete the sentence. So here are the sentences given. Despite being hated, he helped those in need. Either triumph or disaster are impostors. One should neither be hurt by enemies nor by friends. She went to the shops but couldn't find anything that could suit her needs. Now all the answers are there at the end within brackets. You will have to choose the correct one. Now the last category of language component is comprehension passage. which means a passage will be given to you and questions based on the passage will be after the passage. So read the passage carefully and answer those questions. Those questions can be either referential questions or inferential questions. I repeat, it could be a referential question or an inferential question. Referential question means you will get the answer directly from the passage. You can literally pick the sentence from the passage and use it as an answer. That is a referential question. Inferential question is a question where you cannot pick the sentence directly, but you have to read the passage, understand the passage and frame your own answer for that particular question. Such questions are inferential questions. So here we'll see how many questions are referential and how many are inferential. Now the passage goes like this. My next pet was a pigeon, the most revolting bird to look at, with his feathers pushing through the wrinkled scarlet skin, mixed with the horrible yellow down that covers baby pigeons and makes them look as though they have been peroxidizing their hair. Because of his repulsive and obese appearance, we called him Quasimodo. Since he had an unorthodox upbringing, without parents to teach him, Quasimodo became convinced that he was not a bird at all and refused to fly. He walked everywhere. He was always eager to join us in anything we did. He would even try to come for walks with us. So you had to either carry him on your shoulder, which was risking an accident to your clothes, or else you let him walk behind. If you let him walk, then you had to slow down your own pace to suit his. For should you get too far ahead, you would hear the most frantic and imploring coos and turn around to find Quasimodo running desperately after you. So this is the passage. Now look at the questions. Why does the narrator describe the pigeon as the revolting bird? Now you get the answer directly from the passage. Because of his feathers pushing through the wrinkled scarlet skin, mixed with the horrible yellow down that covers baby pigeons and makes them look as though they have been peroxidizing their hair. Now these are the lines which can be directly picked from the passage. So this question is called a referential question where you don't have to think, you'll have to just pick. Now the second one, how did Quasimodo get his name? Because of his repulsive and obese appearance. So this also is directly taken from the text, from the passage. So this also becomes a referential question. Why did Quasimodo refuse to fly? He had an unorthodox upbringing. Without parents to teach him, Quasimodo became convinced that he was not a bird at all and refused to fly. Again, this is a referential question. Now the next one. When would Quasimodo make frantic and imploring coos? While walking, if you get too far ahead, Quasimodo would make the most frantic and imploring coos. Again, you get one more referential question. Now the next one, the last question. What does the phrase risking an accident to your clothes mean? Now this question is an inferential question. Now look at the answer. The phrase means to take a chance to get the clothes dirty. This particular answer you cannot find anywhere in the passage. Here is the answer which you have framed by yourself after understanding the passage. Such questions are inferential questions, and on the passage the questions given can be a combination of referential and inferential question. Now in the examination, language component will be for 20 marks, every category 4 marks each. So be very careful in answering. You can score 20 on 20 if your answers are correct. It's not going to be valued like the other prose and poetry questions where you don't really get full marks. But language part, you can get 100% marks. So easy way of scoring 20 on 20. So be a little more careful and try to get the basics of grammar. It will be easier for you. I hope this has helped you to understand the language components. Thank you very much.